Hey guys, Johnny Warrior here with Expat TV. As you can see, Johnny is wearing a Carhartt. So that must mean Johnny is cold. Yes, I'm still in Oklahoma, US. I am putting a video up to put my section in contribution to Expat TV. Thought I would do it as an update, let you guys know what's going on, what I'm doing in my timeline. So far my trip has been real good. As you can see, I am driving. No, it's not my car. A buddy of mine allowed me to use his car today, so I'm actually on the way to pick him up, as that was the agreement. And on the way there, I thought I'd talk to you, yap a little bit, and talk to you a little bit when I'm waiting for him to get off of work. But my goal was a lot of, a couple personal issues that were coming up, but a lot of it was the continuation of my recovery with relationships and stuff like that. So I came here for, I've seen my two daughters. I have seen and visited with my dad, my stepmother. Both of them were awesome. It was great to see them. I will see them both again later in the week, both my daughters and my dad and mom. Everybody's doing well. We had some family scares with my mom there for a little bit, and my dad as well, but we're good. Everything is good. Now, coming here was a bit of, there's some new things that are kind of in play relative to travel that wasn't. And I actually think what I'm going to do is, on the way back, I'm going to act as though, hey, you're an expat traveling to the Philippines, and I'm going to show you, because I don't know that they're necessarily the same way back. Every time I come back to the US, I get pulled aside from customs and immigration, and have to go through the check your bags and bend over while we stick this hose up your rear line. So what it is when you're coming through the US, they have the new passport machines. So you go up there with your passport, you ask, the customs questions are asked. They take a picture of you, and then you print it. And when you print it, if it's just a receipt, you're good to go. They're gonna get you through, and you're done, right? But if you got a hash through it, or a big X like I always do, you gotta go to the remedial line and get everything, a million questions and everything looked at. But it is what it is. I don't have anything to worry about, so don't worry about it. It's just kind of annoying. I have to plan extra time for that, and I suggest you do too. Coming from the Philippines, if you're prior military, depending upon clearances or anything like that, that can hold you up. Frequent travel over there can hold you up, and they're going to question you and want to see your stuff. And it's normal. Look, they're doing their job, and they're keeping us safe, and they're always friendly about it. They're never rude and obnoxious about it. So I usually get to chat with some vets, and we talk a little bit, and it's pretty cool. I like it. Most of those guys are veterans anyway, so listening to their war stories is pretty cool. Now, I have a preference. I generally will try and leave on JAL, Japan Airline, or Philippine Airline. I'm not a big Korean Air lover. I don't like going to Incheon or anything. My favorite is from Manila into Hong Kong into Dallas Fort Worth. Easy as pie, right? For mine. And then It's a couple hour drive into Lawton. I usually have a friend that picks me up that doesn't mind the trip to Dallas, because we usually hit a restaurant or whatever. But this time I decided to be a genius, and my flight was Philippine Airlines to Hong Kong, American, which is okay, is pretty good, is decent, to LA to OKC, Oklahoma City, Will Rogers, small airport. And I don't know, it's up in the air. Now when I go back, I am flying from Oklahoma City to Chicago O'Hare to Hong Kong into Manila. And that's actually a pretty common flight. So I'm a little excited about that, because I'll be able to film it and give you guys some insights on what it's like. And for those that have not traveled there and are looking to travel, I think it'll be kind of a good little video. So look for that one in a couple weeks. My itinerary is I'll be leaving on the 12th and returning into Manila the 13th. You on the way back, you leave and land the same day, but the way there, because of the international deadline, you leave one day and land the following day. But it's 23-hour flights. It's general 19 to 23 is good for me. Now, when you guys are looking for tickets, you'll find some cheap tickets, and you need to pay attention to layovers, to connecting flights, and everything, because some of those cheap tickets, I'll tell you what, like Narita in Tokyo, right? There is flights that'll take you into one airport, and then you'll have a 4-hour layover, and you are actually expected to move from one airport to the next airport in Tokyo to catch your plane, right, into your Manila destination or your Philippine destination. Now those are cheap tickets, but sometimes paying a couple extra $100 for convenience and keeping your timetable is pretty beneficial. Now, another one that's a cheap route that you can look into is usually the LA into Incheon. So if you're taking a domestic flight from wherever in the US into LA and then catching Korean Air into Incheon, South Korea, they have these ones that have 8 to 16-hour layovers. Now, you don't need a visa or anything to get in. They have a way that you can do a stay over there. Plus, they also have these little micro motels right there in the airport where you can lay out and go to sleep. If I remember right, I believe SESTILE last year or late the year before actually did that run, and he had an 8-hour to 10-hour layover. I can't remember. But he just stayed out in the airport because it was so comfortable. And the airport's so big, and it's not very crowded in some areas. You know, it's worth doing that. It's worth definitely trying it and seeing if you can get a cheaper airfare. You know, mine was $1,200, and I have a 23-hour plane flight right there and back. I have the same one. And then you can get the 19 hours. I think that's about the quickest you're gonna get, is like 18 to 19 hours, right? And that will, and that's ideal. I mean, that's awesome, honestly, because then your your jet lag is minimalized and whatever. So for me, and I'm not cramped up for hours on end or whatever, and having to deal with the back pain and the anxiety and all that stuff. For me, the shorter I can get it, the better. It's worth the extra money. But like I said, look into some of these plane flights because you can get them pretty cheap. All right. Now, for those of you, and there's a significant portion of our audience out there that are veterans, and especially the retired veterans. Now that doesn't mean, that's also including medically retired, because you're classified as retired. You're on retirement orders. So for retired veterans coming out of the Philippines and going to the Philippines, there are MAC flights. Now there is a magic formula to get that done, and we have not quite mastered that particular plan, but sometime over the summer we are thinking of just going down to Clark and jumping on a MAC flight to a location, and then trying to get back into the Philippines. It seems like out of Clark, getting out of Manila or getting out of the Philippines is easier than coming into. It seems like a lot of them are flying into Japan or into Guam, and then taking commercial flights from Guam into Manila, which is a couple hundred, or actually about $150 one way. And then the other one is taking a flight into Singapore with a commercial flight into Philippines. Because remember, there's a joint base with the Malaysians and Singapore and everything in Singapore. It's there's a small contingent of the 7th Fleet that's up there, so the Navy's got a lot going on there, so they have MAC flights flying in and out of that region. So there are MAC flights and ways to get around. I mean, getting into Japan's easy from March Air Force Base, and getting into Guam is easy. Getting out is a little bit of a pickle that we're trying to kind of pin down a little bit. It takes time. It's a new concept. But the way the MAC flights work is, it's like $40 and it'll get you home. The problem is you get kicked off your flights, right? When somebody has a priority, that priority for retirees is anybody with orders. Even as a captain, a private can come in and kick me off my flight because I'm a retired captain and he's an active duty private, which is the right thing, right? I'm using it as a luxury. He's using it as, getting it as a tool to get to his job site. That can be hectic at times, depending upon the time of the year. Obviously, MAC flights around the major holidays are next to impossible. And, depending upon, if like Team Spirit's going on, support staff prior to and after Team Spirit have a tendency to be coming in and out of Asia, so the MAC flights will be kind of loaded up there as well. That just a couple ideas and examples of how things can get a little sticky. So even if it's smooth, seems like it's smooth sailing, you need to give yourself like a 5-day window on both sides. 5 days getting out of the Philippines and 5 days coming back, because you'll keep getting kicked. I've heard horror stories about, people being stuck in Incheon for, 6 days and finally just getting tired of it and buying a ticket home because, there's no idea when they're going to get out of there. So, and then those last minute tickets end up costing you bank, man. So that's something to consider when doing it. But if you're like me and you have nothing but time, that would be good to do. I have not used them coming back into Oklahoma simply because I don't have the time. I'm on a time schedule because I have obligations and appointments, official appointments, that I need to meet and I need to take care of in order for me to, get done what I need to get done here. Yes, I'm here. Yes, at the work site. Things are good. I'm looking forward to coming back. You know, we got some background static that seems to be talk of the town or an issue, but I'm not too concerned about it. Gibbs not so concerned about it either. Things are good. Now, when we get back, Gib and I are in Manila for a few days, and then we part ways. I go to Olongapo and hit the RAO, picking up mail. He goes to Baguio, and he's got BI, or immigration, that he's got to take care of. So he will be actually there during the Flower Festival. Yes, the Flower Festival. That will give him another subject to give you guys, and you guys will see what Baguio looks like. The Flower Festival in Baguio is kind of like a big deal, so it'll be kind of cool to see what his videos are coming out of there. I think it'll be pretty cool. That's about it, guys. You know, I wanted to give you an update, give you a little bit of insight on the travels coming back. Oh, don't even look with the throwaway tickets. I would not even mess with the fake tickets. And if you're that hard up for, you know, if you can't afford the $70, there's probably something that you might want to consider, is that maybe the Philippines isn't a place that you can live if you can't afford $70. Or you pay the extra $20 so that you can get refunded when you cancel your flight. But one of the cheapest ones that I have seen is AirAsia Economy, and as long as you're buying it about, you know, 45 days before your flight, you can get them pretty darn cheap. Now remember, 45 days. What that means is, you know, you have 30 days visa free coming in, so you got to be out there before the end of 30 days. Your plane ticket needs to be out, and then you turn around and have to print it out, right? And you got to have it with you to get on the plane to go to the Philippines. So you need to give yourself enough time in order to order it and print it out and make sure that you have it in your little packet when you get on that. You know, you need 6 months on your passport. You know, you still have 6 months on your passport, and a onward ticket. And that onward ticket can't be like Thailand, because you're going to end up sticking yourself, because then they're going to go, well, Thailand requires an onward ticket. Your safest bet is Hong Kong, all right? I don't know what it is I do know that Filipinos can stay longer than U.S. in Taiwan, and that's just recently, you know, just within a few months or within the last quarter or so. But I believe, I do not believe that they require an onward ticket, but I do not know. You might want to look it up. Sometimes you can get some pretty darn cheap flights into Taiwan, and that is something to investigate and look. For me, it's just easier for me to do Hong Kong, cancel the ticket, get the refund. You know, so that's what I do. I get a real ticket and just refund it when I'm done. You know, if I can't refund it, hey, they got $70 on me, and somebody else got a, you know, standby seat in AirAsia. All right, guys, I'm gonna close this one up, and remember, life is an adventure. Live it as an adventure. Plan your adventure. Listen to us and learn more. Well, we're not here really to educate you. We're here to entertain you, right? So I hope our videos are doing good for you. I hope you're finding them entertaining, and I hope to see you soon. Until next time, I'm Johnny Warrior. Peace out.